Welcome to the Elements of Spirit readings for the week of March 20th, 2017. It is the spring equinox. Today, March 20th, 2017. I bring you these readings as a means of harnessing the ideal balance of your elemental self throughout your week. These are readings through the elements, and the way it rolls is that this will be the ether reading, which defines and describes the space from a cosmic, spiritual, healing point of view. And then I go into each of the individual elements of earth, air, water, and fire as associated with the sun signs of the zodiac. Each one of the elements has 3 signs assigned to it. You can see those assignations in the description below this reading. But for right now, I just come to the fore on this day of the vernal equinox to see what comes through the ether. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, so it's this very cool image of hands, loving hands, covered in dirt, and they're holding very close to itself, to the keeper of the hands, holding this like dirty, dank, doo-doo looking truffle that's been rooted out of the earth. And I'm going to, I have my, I have my Ish cosmetics here. This is the Rusty. I have chocolatey on my eyeballs, and Gold Bomb on my cheekbones. But I'm going to use the Ish to illustrate. Yes. So okay. So this is kind of what I'm seeing. There are these loving little hands holding this kind of truffle, this very valuable truffle, which is covered in shit. I'm covered in Ish. It's like covered in Ish, and the message is really protect your Ish, protect your shit. Yes, and it's covered in dirt. So the idea is that it could be interpreted as literally like a piece of shit, something that you want to flush or throw away or get rid of or remove from your experience. But the idea here is that it's saying hold on to that Ish, hold on to that Ish, treasure it, hold it close to yourself, slow down. And don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. The idea is like, we're moving into spring. We're moving into the vernal equinox, the last day of winter, the first day of spring, last day of Pisces, first day of Aries. And that has this very forward-moving energy, fiery motion of like everything popping off and spring getting sprung and all this stuff happening. And it's the end. It's the astrological New Year, so it's really like the end of the old year, the beginning of the new. On ediblespirit.com, I have a blog post about vernal equinox, spring equinox, and there's a ritual suggestion on the site, which has to do with letting whatever's done be absorbed in the black waters of Pisces, and welcoming in new opportunities and manifestations, planting seeds in the new, gorgeous, transformative cosmic fire of Aries. So what this is saying is that even if you don't know it, your being is amping up for the first day of spring or the first day of fall, if you're listening in the southern hemisphere, if you are. The idea is that like as that day is about to pop off, the stuff at the end of winter is ready to die out. When we observe a ritual like a spring equinox ritual, we say, hey, this is the moment. Equal night, equal day. Winter's over, spring's starting. I'm ready. Let this die. Let this start. And the idea here is that you might be being hasty in letting your shit die, or flushing what you don't like or what you are ready to move on from in yourself. Because this is actually saying that like at the center of that shit is a priceless truffle. It's like a priceless a piece of gold, which you might not notice at first, which actually has to be like rooted out through a keen sense of smell, right? Like a truffle pig, or I think they have dogs that do it too, but I want to be a pig. I don't want to be a dog. I am a dog. but I like pigs. So you the idea and the reason why the ether shows us this message is because it's like it's saying we all might be being a little hasty. We all might be being a little too hard on ourselves, saying this is what needs to go. This is what has to go. Um, uh, oh, interesting. Um, because the theory is that like we're thinking about what to get rid of based on what we want to welcome in, and the idea here is like, well, what if you have something really valuable that wants to be shared, with your beloved, with your family, with your community, with your colleagues, with your, with your city, state, with your what if this thing which you think is shit is actually a priceless truffle? Are you just going to like throw aside a clod of dirt, or are you going to use your keen senses to say, okay, slow down, maybe I'm missing something here, there's something valuable about my experience, there's something, maybe I'm like, I want to get rid of my tendency to be walked all over. I want to not let myself be walked all over anymore. The idea here would be like, okay, fine, but just hold on, everyone, because this is the ether reading, so it applies to everyone, earth, air, water, and fire. Hold on, maybe your tendency to be walked all over actually comes from a very, service-oriented and compassionate streak. So you don't want to necessarily throw away your most selfless self, but the idea here is like you hold it. You hold this, truffle turd, and you, brush away the dirt from it, and you pay attention to it, and you presume that there's something good about it. And that would be kind of the universal message here, is that we're all missing something about ourselves. We're all deciding something, even a small thing, is must be left behind, and yet maybe there's one little filament or a big frickin' stanky truffle nugget in the middle that wants to be preserved in this moment, in this process. So the guidance is really to just treasure it, hold it close, pay attention to it, dust the dirt off of it, find the gold in it, find that which is priceless in it, so that it can be offered when it's time. Oh, I lovingly treasure my most. Oh. You guys, if you've been following this, you know that I sometimes hit a lurch in the affirmations because I always know better. That's what my brain says, and I just have to let it come through. So the affirmation for Ether this week is, I lovingly treasure my most mortal flaws. So you see, this is about self-love, but this is about self-work, and really taking that which you presume to be worthless and adoring it and treasuring it and dusting it and holding it close, protecting it for long enough to reveal the gold inside, to reveal the value inside, so that it can then be shared, so that it can then be spread. And remember, it doesn't even matter what you come up with. It doesn't even matter what is valuable. One of the deepest, most powerful alchemical teachings is that, all base metals can be turned into gold. It's the lotus, right? From the muck grows the golden lotus flower. From the earth, we find our bliss. From this life, we find transcendence. From pain, we find light and love and forgiveness. So it's worthy work. It's worthy work. It's valuable work. It's worth it to get your hands dirty playing in the muck, because it brings you closer to reality. I mean, shit is dirty, right? Life gets messy. It's easy to lose sight of your gold in all of the ish. And this says, I love it. It's such a fun message this week. It literally just says, everybody stop what you're doing. Look at what you're throwing out and recognize that there's something valuable in it. I'm laughing because my dad, who passed recently, was not one to enjoy ever throwing anything out. And my mom loves throwing things out. And like, I have so many memories from my childhood of my mom being like, well, today's a throwaway day. And like, all of a sudden, like, you know, we always had restaurants, so there was always like a dumpster somewhere nearby. And my mom would just be ready to like dump all this stuff into the dumpster. And my dad would inevitably like insert himself in between her and the receptacle so that he could like lovingly pick through everything. And she couldn't stand this about him, but there were more than one occasion when she would lose something in the garbage and she wasn't about to go picking through the garbage. In those moments, she loved this skill of my father's, this dedication to finding the goodness in the trash pile. I really hope that this vibes with you because, you know, again, like it's a very spiritual idea that without exception, nothing is ever wrong because there's always one pinpoint of light, of peace somewhere inside of you which can be found. You can see this. People claim this in horrible situations and horribly traumatizing experiences, horrors that I hope you never ever have to go through. Prisoners find liberation. They don't find it outside of their cell. They find it within their cell. So the idea of it being a worthy journey to go looking for the gold in the middle of the pile of ish, good stuff. Affirmation this week. I lovingly treasure my most mortal flaws. 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 I needed it. I lovingly treasure you, my most mortal and divine bros and sisters. And I will see you in the other readings. Earth, Air, Water, Fire. Not necessarily in that order. Find the one that's yours. Check out, subscribe to this if you like this. Keep getting these videos. And also, is there something else? Oh yeah, that ritual on ediblespirit.com under the blog. It's the first post on the blog. So check it out. Happy spring. Bye.